When it comes to business success and longevity in business, it's you versus you. That's the reality. Your mindset and your belief system will be what controls or determines your outcome and your success far beyond any strategies. So, in today's podcast episode, I want to share with you the 5 things that I do every day to ensure that I am really staying in that growth mindset, staying in that sustainability in terms of business mode, and that I am always like striving for that next level so that I never get complacent, never get bored. And I'm always just like continuing to up the ante. So thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. My name is Rebecca. I am your host. This is the Femalepreneur Coach podcast, and I'm super excited to have you today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, like do all the things, because the more that you do that, the more that it enables me to, you know, really do what I love, but also bring in better and better guests and all of the things. So I was kind of reflecting on this weekend. I said within my group a moment ago that when I first started coaching and mentoring online, it was strategy, but it was really more mindset. Because one thing that I realized, having been in business so long, was that it's like doing a marathon. It's like doing a run. It's your a run, yeah, like a marathon. It's you versus you when it comes to your success. If you believe that you can do something, you are absolutely fine away, and you won't stop until you do. If you believe that you can't, that will always be your outcome. Like, first of all, because your brain will never make you a liar, but also because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I learned very quickly that my success was determined on my mindset, my energy, all of the things. And whenever like my vibrations dropped, whenever my mindset dropped, like my results would ultimately follow. So I learned very quickly that I had to really lean into like me as a person and really continue to commit to my own personal development if I wanted to continue to succeed in business and make this a thing. Like, obviously, anybody that knows my circumstances, I've got 5 kids, like this wasn't something that I could really go half into and half out of. Like, being an entrepreneur, this is a lifestyle for me. This is a choice. I will never go back to paid employment. I'm pretty sure that I am officially unemployable anyway. And this activated person of me would not fit in a corporate setting anymore. And I absolutely am here for that. But I realized again, like I say, that I had to do this work. It was with every new level of income, every new situation, every new level of success, there is always a new devil that is waiting for you to kind of just give you an opportunity for growth. And that's all it is. Like, it's not to be personal development, personal growth, doing the work. Like, there's nothing to be scared of in that. It's actually a really great opportunity for growth. And anytime that things come up for you, that is the time to really lean in. And, you know, I've been tried and tested many times in business over the years, absolutely. And I think how you respond to those challenges, those curveballs, those, you know, those trials and tribulations that the universe loves to send us, how you respond to that is really what's going to make and break you in business. So the 5 things that I really kind of sat down and did and continue to do most days is what I'm going to be sharing in this episode. So the first one is I created a vision that was bigger than me. So this is for so many reasons. It's obviously helps you to create connection with the right people and call them into your mission. It helps you to be in true like service of everyone around you, which feels really amazing. But I think for me, it was, to be quite honest, you know, as an entrepreneur, there are hundreds of ways that you can make money. You know, I had an Amazon business, I had a brick and mortar business, and you know, and I absolutely like was tested in all of those, and I'm a committed person, right? So I still stayed the course, did the thing, and stayed committed to what I had started. However, when I then moved into coaching, I was like, I don't just want this to be about making money, because the reality is there's always easier ways to make money. I don't need to be a personal brand, and I don't need to be on socials and all the things to make money. I had an Amazon business, people didn't even know who I was. And there's lots of other things that you could do which maybe isn't as front facing. And for somebody who is a bit of an extrovert, introvert, I think I've heard it as an ambivert or something, where you're kind of a bit of both, in that I can be an extrovert, I am a people person, I feed off other people's energy, but equally I need that time to, you know, retreat, to reflect, to recharge. Even as a manifesting generator, I can't be on 24/7. I've got more energy than most, but I realized with my other businesses, where my energy, my interest, my passion had started to dip was because it just felt a bit like, okay, new week, new money to be made and all of the great things, but it didn't feel like there was something bigger than me pulling me. My mission now is to obviously support women to really step into their independence and live life entirely on their own terms. For me, there is a very clear line of sight between that goal and empowering women and just changing the world for the better, and being an entrepreneur and making your own money and dealing with your money mindset and all of the things. So there's a very clear line of sight for that. So when it then comes to, I really don't want to do this, like I'm really not feeling it today, I'm really tired, or there's something that just feels really scary and I don't want to do it, or some sort of conflict around, something I need to do, having that bigger mission and vision that is so much bigger than me, it really helps me to get perspective and like recalibrate and get behind it. Because equally, like, I need to be that embodiment of what I teach. So whenever I come to a challenge when it relates to money or difficult conversations or any of those things, because I've accepted that vision for my business, that I need to be a leader, I need to go first, I need to be an embodiment. It's not about me, it's about the clients that need me. It really has helped me to remove ego from any situation where I'm feeling like I'm going to look silly, this might not work, like what if it doesn't work, where I've got that can't stop, won't stop mindset. And I think that really does come from connecting with that. If I can do this thing, this is going to make the world such a better place, not only for me, but for everybody else and also my children. Like, that is a really beautiful thing to be able to tap into on those days when you just don't feel like it, when it feels like, no, don't want to, can't make me. It's like, actually, it's not about me. And it's really helped me to 10x my growth, my visibility, because I've realized that it's not about me. So that was my number one thing. I think it's about creating a vision that is bigger than you, so that you don't have that, nah, if it doesn't work out, like, it's not a problem. It's about staying true to, removing your ego from the situation and staying true to ultimately the end goal. Like, I don't care how I get there. Some things will work, some things won't, but ultimately the end goal needs to be adding up to that in some way. And that's how you get to that can't stop, won't stop mindset. The next thing is to obviously deal with the limiting beliefs that tell you that you can't have it, right? And this is part of my daily practice. Every morning I sit down and write my goals. Some will be more audacious than others. Some will be relating to tangible outcomes, and some will just be a feeling. So it's more of like setting my intentions for the day. But anything that comes up for me, I'm always looking for valuable feedback. Like, why would this not work? Why would I not be good enough? What is coming up for me? What is the but? To like underneath the goals that I'm trying, all the intentions that I'm trying to set, all the goals that I'm trying to achieve, because having that radical self-awareness and opportunity for real-time feedback with yourself really helps you to start to step into your power as a self-leader, as a self-led woman who understands where her current limitations are and has awareness of it, so that she can then actively, proactively, like, move past them, move through them, hold them up, turn them over, look at them as whether they are truth or not, and actively do the work that it needs to move past that belief, because we'll all have something, we'll all have some things, and you can be consciously aware of it or you can be unconsciously aware of it. But until you do the work and make that commitment to continually becoming a better version of yourself, like, you can't get past it, you can't heal it, past traumas, you can't reframe it, you can't become that empowered self. You'll always be somewhat stunted in terms of your growth. So every morning I sit down, write out those goals, and then, like, okay, what are the things that are telling me that this won't work or I can't have it? And then I do the work on that thing to see if it's ultimately true. And obviously it's not. Our potential in this lifetime is unlimited. The amount of success that is available to you as a woman in 2023 is completely unlimited. The only thing that will stunt your growth is you. Like, genuinely, because there's always a way, and there are countless ways to get to the same outcome and the same goal, just a different route. And that's the reality. And you've got that resourcefulness, that flexibility, that creativity inside you as a feminine, with feminine energy. So there is always a goddamn way, and if it's not this, it'll be this. So with that in mind, like, what are the things that are keeping you stuck right now, that are telling you that you can't have what you want? It's better to call out the elephant in the room and deal with it than try and ignore it and push through it, because not only will it not be fun, but you will still be unconsciously self-sabotaging. The next thing is to always surround yourself with the right people. And this forms really part of those daily high vibe practices. Now, I don't believe in toxic positivity where you are literally just out of 10, 24/7. I don't believe that that's possible. And I don't believe that, as spiritual beings, that is part of our human experience, is to be perpetually in a state of happiness. I think we need to experience the highs and the lows and the fluctuations to really appreciate the highs. You've got to have lows and all of the things. And I believe that we need to have access to the full range of emotional spectrum. However, I think the more that you can commit to being in a more high vibrational state than not, the more great things that will come to you, the quicker that you can collapse time and create those manifestations and bring things into your reality. I don't think you can do that from like a poor me mindset. You're only going to attract more things that confirm the belief that you are poor me, that things aren't good, the world is not in your favor, everything's against you, so we really want to actively be lifting ourselves out of that. And sometimes, well, 9 times out of 10, it comes from up leveling the people that you're surrounded with. When they say your net worth is in your network, there is no truer word. And for me, what I found was you can be self-motivated and you can be self-led and you could be the one that is like the wild card in the pack. That was absolutely my experience growing up. I didn't have any entrepreneurial role models or friends that were particularly motivated. I had one friend that went traveling for a period of time. That was a bit like, oh, look at her doing her thing. That was really exciting. Nowadays, perhaps you might get more people that are just thinking outside of the 9 to 5 and the box of conformity that we are all put in as kids. But genuinely, I didn't have other people around me to kind of guide me, to keep me on track, to encourage me. If anything, I had lots of people actively trying to discourage me from this inner knowing that I was meant for more. I built a property portfolio of over 7 figures by 25, had my first mortgage at 18. I was working 3 jobs and bought it with a partner. Everybody around me told me it was too much. You're working too hard, you're doing too much, you're missing out on your childhoods, and your teenage years. Slow down. Why do you want when will you be happy? They just didn't understand it. So I definitely didn't have access to that container for success and community around me. It didn't stop me, but it did give me, a lot of traumas when I felt like I was having to choose, when I was being made to feel guilty, when there were elements of shame for being ambitious. And at the time, it wasn't about me. It was trying to outrun the devil. Genuinely, I had such a trauma with money growing up. And I think I was just trying to get safety. That's all I wanted. I wanted to outrun the devil, get to a point where nobody could ever take away from me the success that I created, because that had been my whole reality growing up. And yet, then I still managed to self-sabotage that, because ultimately people got into my head around, when that relationship ended and I walked away from that portfolio, it's be a good person, be a good, just give him, you've left him, you need to give him the majority of it. You're surely not going to fight him when you're the one that's leaving. It's okay, and just took scraps really to get myself a new house. And I know a lot of women that have done that from a place of not wanting to have an argument, not wanting to be have the conflict, not wanting to be seen to be not a good person. It's quite interesting to me how that happened. But the thing is, it wasn't until, and I really think that I was activated at the current level, wasn't until I started to meet other women that were like me. Other women that had perhaps taken different journeys and different paths to get to where they were, but were essentially those trailblazers in their own lifetime that didn't have people, paving the way and encouraging them. They were forging their own paths and doing it without the support of others necessarily around them. It wasn't until I was in the company of those women that I felt accepted and I felt seen and I felt heard and I felt okay with wanting more, because ultimately it's all about this bigger vision, right? It's not about me. It's about the impact that I can have, which only comes from being the embodiment of my work, i.e., earning more money, being more visible, having more success, because then I can help other women to do the same. So it wasn't until I was in those communities where I really could put my foot on the gas when it came to whatever it was that I was putting my mind to. And I think Equally, it's about recognizing the energetic drains in your life. And when I talk about high vibe practices, it's not always like, getting a killer playlist on and like jumping around the room and all of those things. It's actually just not choosing not to entertain the circus or the monkeys that day, not getting into those conversations with the people that are going to bring you down. It's choosing your peace over something that is going to make you feel rubbish, saying no when you want to say no, as opposed to saying yes. That for me is part of like my daily practice to keep me really on track, keep me really grounded, and keep me in the best possible place, not only for me, for my kids, but also for my clients and for the mission. So it is actively turning away and not engaging in the conversations that make me feel bad, not surrounding myself with the people that make me feel bad, surrounding myself with the people that make me feel good, and make me feel seen and accepted in all of the things. And it's why very quickly when I moved into my coaching, really moved into my stride as a coach, the first thing I did was build community in all of my programs. Up until that point, I was working one-to-one with clients, and it was great to have that intimate connection. But it was like, I need you to have what I've had, because that a lot of the time when I'm working with women, it's like their husband doesn't get it, their kids are making them feel bad, their family doesn't get it, and they don't have a tribe to really give them full permission to see what's capable. They're constantly in that conflict where it's like, I want to do this thing, but everybody's telling me this thing. You're telling me this thing, but they're telling me this thing. I only see you once a week. I see these people every day. So that's why I've created my 7-figure sisterhood mastermind. It's why I've got the Aligned, Empowered, Abundant Academy, because I can meet women at different points in their journey, at different price points of investment, with a community of women that get it as well. It's why I love the in-person events also. So if you don't have that right now, like that is the biggest thing that I would say would really help you set you on the right path and set you up for success, not only for the rest of the year, but next year also. The next thing is around identifying the things in your life that need improvement, and then committing to improving those things by 1% every day. Now, here's the thing, when you're a high achieving woman and when you've got these big dreams and visions, it can almost be overwhelming. When we talk about, going all in and, burning things down and starting again entirely on your own terms, it sounds amazing, but internally that can be really overwhelming. The thought of like quitting your job, leaving your partner, like going to the gym 24/7, like all of these radical, massive changes can get us into a place where we actually feel overwhelmed, and therefore we do nothing because it just feels too big. And what I learned was, I was that woman, I've got all these big dreams, these big goals. I want everything right now. I've got this awareness. I've woken up to what was wrong in my life, but I don't have the means, resources, or energy to change absolutely everything in one go. And then I felt deflated by that. I was like, oh, well, now I'm kind of, putting up with this and I'm putting up with that. And now I'm settling and it doesn't feel good. And I'm not getting there quick enough. I should be able to collapse time and all of the things. And it really got me into a downward spiral. So what I realized very quickly was like, actually, I believe in the power of the compound effect. And I believe every day, as long as you're moving somewhat closer to your goals and away from where you don't want to be, that's still progress. That's still transformation. That will still compound and add up to, in a year's time, if every day you've moved 1% closer to your goals, you're going to be 365, like, not percent, I don't even know what that works, but you're going to be like that bit further to where you want to be. And not only is that going to be a much easier way to manage transformation, it's also more sustainable, and it acclimatizes you to that next level. You're going to wake up one day and become Beyonce. You're not suddenly, and because you've looked back and seen the growth and the journey and the progress that you've made, and you are Beyonce and you don't even realize it, and that's certainly what's happened to me, particularly with 5 kids, multiple businesses, homeschooling, lots of other things going on. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind and not where you want to be. You're looking around at everybody else who maybe doesn't have kids or has a bigger team or has a bigger budget or has been around for longer or just somewhat more activated and seems to be everywhere. It's easy to look around in business and be like, oh, why am I not where they are? But if instead you can just commit to improving the little parts of your life that are really holding you back right now, and just commit to transforming and up-leveling them by 1% every day, it's you versus you. That is still progress, and it will still ultimately get you to where you want to go. And it will do it in a way that feels super aligned and really sustainable. Because what can happen is that those people that have those incredible like rises to fame, overnight success, crazy like up levels, they self-sabotage because it isn't what they're used to. It's why 70% of lottery winners lose their winnings within the first couple of years, because it's so far from where they started that it almost feels unsafe to have that new level of success. And I've seen this many times with coaches that are like, I went from nothing to 10K months in 4 months in my business. And the internal struggle attached to that has impacted them for years to come, because they've not acclimatized to that next level. They've not done the work along the journey, and they've either not enjoyed the process, or they've ended up self-sabotaging at some point, or they've not been able to replicate their success because they don't really know what exactly they were doing to get there, or when they can't necessarily replicate their success, because sometimes it's easier to launch something new than continue to put energy in something that people have already seen. They then feel like a failure, and they feel like they're doing something wrong, and it's like, it's not. So for me, that 1% could look like just clearing out a drawer in your kitchen, something that drives you mad every day, gets on your nerves. This is also like money mindset as well. And instead, if you cleared out that drawer, when you then started your day fresh the next day and went to that drawer, that would feel like a win. That would feel like, 1% better. My life is 1% better than it was yesterday because that drawer is now clean. And genuinely, if you can only control like the small things in your life right now, that will give you such a sense of satisfaction. It really does with me. It's like with the kids, like cleaning out a toy cupboard. That will give me so much satisfaction, just as much as getting an email sequence sorted, setting up a new funnel or a landing page. I really believe in the small, like bite-sized chunks are the ones that really like move you forwards in those actions. It will give you satisfaction. Like, I love writing lists just so I can highlight and get the satisfaction of like ticking things off. And it's about those little wins as much as the big wins, you know, celebrating the journey and the growth and the things that you're doing every day. And it could be that you just write a done list at the end of your day rather than a to-do list, which feels like overwhelming. Some of my to-do lists are like 3 pages. I'm never going to get any satisfaction, because for me to get to the end of that to-do list, some are big projects, some are small projects, but I need to have awareness of them. I've got lots of things that I'm running. It's going to be a long time before I get any satisfaction from and the reality is that is continually evolving, ever evolving. As one thing comes off, as one project completes, like that's the cycle and flow of my business, something else will come in. And I like that. I like to have a full plate. I like to have lots of things going on. I don't want to wait for one thing. I want to be excited about the next thing coming in as well, so it maintains the momentum in my business. So therefore, I'm not going to get the satisfaction from ticking that or getting that whole list done. Not my life will never be done, and neither will you. That's the spoiler alert. If you're not continually growing, you're not really moving, and you're, as Tony Robbins says, you're actually dying. And I believe that. So for me, I get those quick wins, those dopamine hits, those sense of satisfaction from the little things every day, and I go to bed very satisfied. And actually, in human design, there is a non-self and a self theme when you're in your best self energy, and it will look different for each of us. But as a manifesting generator, my non-self is like frustration, when I feel overwhelmed, like there's too much going on, I can't, that's when I know I'm out of alignment, I'm not acting in accordance with my best self energy. And my best self is actually satisfied. So going to I expected it to be like some big crazy high, and it's not. It's like if you go to bed satisfied every day of the week, that is going to add up to a really fulfilling life that is going to feel really, really good, and really is the expression of what you were meant to do in this lifetime. And I remember sitting with that and thinking, like, how do I feel about that? Like, I'm a person that's super high vibe, so I just want to go to bed feeling satisfied every day. But I realized that I was prone to those highs and lows. So therefore, moving into a place of satisfied has actually really reframed a lot for me, and meant that I, like I say, I'm finding these quick wins. I'm getting so much like sense of satisfaction in the smaller things. I feel more in control. I feel more focused. I feel more on top of things, and everything feels good, not just one area of my life, but everything over here is just absolutely falling to shit. That doesn't feel good. Like, my washing is good, my kids are good, homeschooling is good, business is good, like everything feels okay. And that's a really great place to be. And that is what ultimately leads to like sustainable long-term growth. The last thing is to actively seek opportunities, to really get out of your side of your comfort zone, and to really listen to what feels like growth for me right now. And at the beginning of the year, it looked very different to what I have achieved this year versus what feels like growth for next year. You know, I'm still in the process of writing my book. I've got some incredible opportunities coming up for me in November, which I can't wait to share with you. That feels like growth. That feels a bit scary, definitely outside of my comfort zone, but also like, okay, let's go. Like, I can handle that. And I think one thing that I learned very quickly was, rather than fearing things that feel scary and overwhelming and a bit intimidating, is actually seeing that as an opportunity for feedback, that that's exactly what I need to be doing. Because if I can conquer that thing, if I can master that thing, if I can make that thing no big deal and just get into a rhythm and also prove myself that I can do that thing, what does that then do for my level of confidence, ability, and capability? If I can then use that as a platform to jump off of in the next thing, next level. You know, that's how you continually evolve, grow, become all you can be, is by just continually searching those things that look scary. And it could be speaking on stage, it could just be going live on Instagram. Our growth and what is currently intimidating us, or you know, keeping us stuck, will be different for all of us. So that's what I love. Like, growth will look very different for each of us, which means that, you know, ultimately that's what we're here to do as spiritual beings, is continually grow into that next level version of us, whatever that looks like for you. And that actually makes me really struggle in terms of sales pages, because I'm like, not everybody's looking for a 10K month, not everybody is looking for more time to do nothing, like, you know, more. So actually people just want to feel like they're reaching their potential, their purpose, their next level of success. And it's quite hard to articulate that on a sales page, but equally, you know, we move and we get it done. But that's what I would say has really enabled me to quantum leap my growth in business, is by, rather than shying away or delaying things that feel scary, it's like running headfirst into it and being like, right, well, that's why I now need to do that. Not only am I going to do it, I'm going to do it twice, because then on the other side of that, when I've proven to myself that I can do it, albeit I probably won't be perfect and it probably won't be amazing, but at least I've done the damn thing, that is going to really set me up for success for whatever is on the other side of that. You know, who knows where that's going to lead, or what is even, you know, my brain can only comprehend, you only know what you know, can only comprehend the goals that are here at this point. When I get to the other side of that, who knows what's going to be on the side of it. And rather than fearing that, I get excited for that, because it means that I'm continually growing and evolving as a coach, as a mentor, and as a woman. So to recap, the 5 things that I think really give you that sense of continual growth, that longevity and success in your business, and that unstoppable mindset, is to create a vision that is bigger than you. So you have that can't stop, won't stop mindset. Dealing with your shizzle and the beliefs that don't serve you or tell you that you can't have the thing. It's about getting into high daily practices by surrounding yourself with the right people and also asking the right questions. It's about identifying the things that are going to make, you know, improve your life somewhat in all areas of life, and then committing to doing that 1% each day. So it could just be having a more meaningful conversation and utilizing the school run. You know, I always think with my kids, as long as I've connected with them at least once throughout the day, at least once, then, you know, we're good. We've created a new memory. We've had an intentional conversation. Like, that is still a plus in the plus column. Like, I'm good. And then actively seek opportunities to get outside your comfort zone. And, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments what that feels like right now, what your next level of growth looks like, feels like. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and it's given you some things to think about and perhaps some reframes as to the work that actually needs to happen in order to scale your business and have a really successful business online. It's not always about the next strategy, the next thing, adding more things. It's usually the internal work inside that will determine our next level of growth and next level of success. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and all the things. And I will pop all the details in the show notes about all of my current programs if you're interested in setting yourself up with the ultimate success, i.e. community, and joining me inside any of those programs.